the NFL playoffs start today, bruh. The NFL playoffs start today. Whenever you got to put up or shut up, this is the time you got to get it in, man. So with the playoffs starting today, you have the NFC where you got San Francisco as number one, and you got the AFC where you got Baltimore as number one. The Baltimore Ravens ended the season. Lamar Jackson going crazy. They beat the Niners. They beat the brace off the Niners. They beat the brace off Miami. Lamar Jackson is looking like the MVP this year. But you also got on the other side, you got San Francisco, who had a road. They kind of limped into the playoffs a little bit with a couple of losses at the end of the year, and then they, kind of picked it up in week 18. And we're literally watching TV to see if watching the TV in the locker room to see if they actually got the number one seed in the first round bye. But they have an MVP candidate in Brock Purdy. Also got an MVP candidate in Christian McCaffrey, and they're going crazy as well. So, San Francisco 12-5, Baltimore Ravens 13-4. They're the number one seeds. But you got some, you got some teams on each side that are sleepers. You got some powerful teams on each side. But my question to you, D-Lo, who is the team to watch right now and on both sides? Who's the team to watch right now?
I mean, I think you said it in the intro. The team to watch on both sides and clear-cut favorites for both sides is the San Francisco 49ers as well as the Baltimore Ravens. Both teams played exceptionally well this year. I think the Ravens went 13-4. San Francisco went 12-5. Both had, both had great wins in conference against contenders for the conference title, maybe even the Super Bowl. I hate to say it, but San Francisco dominated the Dallas Cowboys when they played them. The Ravens beat San Francisco. They beat Miami, as well as other teams that are contenders for the title, or considered contenders for the title out of the AFC. So I definitely think it's the Ravens and San Francisco that are the clear-cut favorites to come out and contend for the Super Bowl. Not only have the Ravens played well, they're also are getting one of Lamar Jackson's main targets back this week. Mark Andrews is coming back. Statistically, I think the 49ers are one of the better teams, just period, across the board, offense and defense in the league. But they're known for their offense because of Kyle Shanahan and type of offense that he runs, and the weapons that they have on that offense. So, yeah, I think we are expecting to see a Ravens 49ers Super Bowl.
Well, okay. So those definitely are the teams to watch. So let me pivot a little bit. Who might be your sleeper teams, I guess?
Yeah. So, and I was going to let you answer to see what you said, but you can never count out Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. You also have the Buffalo Bills in the AFC, and then in the NFC, the Lions have played well all year. I just think because they don't really have much playoff experience as a team. I know Jared Goff went to the Super Bowl with the Rams a couple years ago. They do have some individuals that have been on other teams that went to the Super Bowl or had some deep playoff runs. But as a whole, that franchise, it's been a while since they've been in the playoffs and even had deep runs. So, I think they'll maybe win a game, but then they have to rematch. If Dallas wins, they have a rematch with Dallas. And that's my other team. I think Dallas is gonna do it. They could be a team to be reckoned with in the NFC if they can pull it all together. Dak plays well. If the defense plays well, like they have been for the most part of the year, I think they're definitely a team that can make noise in the NFC. But we're just expecting the 49ers and the Ravens to do what they do. And injuries aside, everybody expects those teams to be in the Super Bowl.
In the Super Bowl. And it's crazy you say that, man, because I was in here doing some extra research last night, and YouTube was just in the background playing. I got a TV literally right here beside my setup. And whenever I got off the computer last night to go in my room and go ahead and get ready to get up in the morning to record, the YouTube was playing the Baltimore San Francisco Super Bowl from 2012-2013 season. I'm like, what? Okay, foreshadowing much, maybe a little bit, but people are expecting that. But I think, you know, on my end, the teams to watch, honestly, in the AFC, watch out for Houston. Watch out for Houston, bro, because CJ Stroud and Nico Collins have been dangerous all year. They have been dangerous all year. CJ, as a rookie, to throw for 4,100 yards and 23 touchdowns and 5 interceptions as a rookie.
Yeah.
But Nico Collins to have 1,300 of those and 8 touchdowns, like, they have been a dangerous duo all year. And now they come in and they play Cleveland. Cleveland beat them in week 16, but CJ didn't play because he had a concussion. So that, you know, that could have played a different part into the game if CJ was actually there. But the Browns have a great defense led by Myles Garrett too, man. So I think that's going to be a game to watch. That right there is going to be a game to watch in my eyes. So don't be surprised if CJ shines under these bright lights, bro, because he looks good. He looked like he might be low key built for this. I ain't gonna hold you. So that's my sleeper team on the AFC.
Yeah, it's just. So when it comes to playoffs, man, we all know. Well, I don't know from experience,
right?
As far as actually being in the NFL, but I've heard. I know a couple of people that have been in the NFL. I know a Super Bowl champion. When it comes to the playoffs, man, you can't beat that experience, and that's the only reason why I gave a knock and haven't really even considered Houston as a contender. Now they have from how they played for the last year, nobody expected Houston to be in the playoffs, right?
Nobody expected.
So, and CJ Stroud, it's looking like the Panthers made a terrible mistake by
100%
picking Bryce Young over CJ Stroud, but that's neither here nor there. You just don't expect for them to. Just didn't give that to the Houston Texans or the Cleveland Browns, even though both of those teams have had a surprisingly good year. Joe Flacco stepped in and has done amazing for the Browns.
He's played well off his couch, G. Off his couch. Came in and crazy.
Stepped in and played amazing for them. I just realistically don't see them winning the Super Bowl.
Makes sense. I mean, I wasn't saying that either one of those teams going to the Super Bowl, but I think that if you talk about sleeper, like the team to watch, I think Houston in the AFC is a team to watch. Now, my NFC team to watch. Now, if y'all haven't found out, for people who actually watch our show, I am a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan. I'm not, and I'm preface this by saying I am not one of those unrealistic Cowboys going to Super Bowl, this our year kind of. No, if they ask, I'm gonna tell you they ask. I'm that fan. I don't talk shit about the Cowboys. When they win, I'll be quiet because they disappoint. They have been disappointing me since '96. Since '96, they have been disappointing me. So I've been shutting the fuck up. I don't say nothing about these dudes.
What was that stat you said that they since '96? How many playoff wins have they had?
What was it? Wasn't it? I think it was
like 5 games.
They've went to the playoffs 5 times since '96.
No, you said they won only 5 playoff games. Let me. You said.
I don't think they've. Hold on. They've won, but they haven't. They haven't been to the playoffs much.
We're talking about America's team, quote unquote, and they've only since '96, since the last time they won a Super Bowl, they only won 5 playoff games. Make it make sense.
5 wins in the playoffs since '96. So you're right. That's how many it was. So
make it make sense.
It's insane. So my team to watch in the NFC is, you can probably guess who I'm about to say. The Green Bay Packers.
You think so?
The Green Bay Packers is my team to watch because, and this is why I say this. Jordan Love's been looking good in the final half of the season. 18 touchdowns, 1 interceptions in the last 8 games. Been playing amazingly. whenever it comes to the Dallas Cowboys and the Green Bay Packers, especially in the playoffs, the Packers have the Cowboys number every single time. Even going back to, did Dez catch it? I mean,
that was in Green Bay, right?
That was in Green Bay. Yes, that was outside in Green Bay. That was in Lambeau.
Most of the games since '96, the games between Green Bay and the Cowboys have been in Green Bay, I would imagine.
Most of them, yeah, most of them have.
More than 50%, you would say, right?
Except for maybe a couple, like the here recently, because the Cowboys under Dak have had some 13-3s in there too, so they may have had, you know what I'm saying? So
yeah,
but the Green Bay Packers just have had our numbers, bro. Like it's annoying. Like every time, whenever late in the season whenever the Dallas Cowboys play Green Bay, it's like I'm on pins and needles because anything can happen in this game, especially when you got a quarterback. This year he hasn't been bad, but when you have a gunslinger, risk taker quarterback like Dak Prescott, like your Tony Romo's of the world, like they're going to put the ball in harm's way, and that's what usually happens. Especially last year when Dak led the NFL in interceptions, but this year he's been a lot MVP worthy. So I mean, I think it just scares me, bro. They scare me, dog. They scare me, bro.
I think you just argued against Cam Newton. You said Dak Prescott was a gunslinger risk taker. That wouldn't be characteristic of a game manager.
Hey, man. whenever you lead the league in interceptions, you a risk taker. You a gunslinger. That's what they call Brett Favre. Brett Favre was a risk taker, gunslinger. He led the league in interceptions a bunch of times. So that's what they call Tony Romo. They called him the same thing. So, but to Cam's point, he's a game manager. He ain't a game changer. I think Dak is on that cusp. He's like walking a fine line. Yeah, he's walking a fine line between changer and manager, but that's neither here nor there. But the Packers is my team to watch, man. Only because they're playing Dallas. And I know how this rivalry is, and I know what this game means, especially in the playoffs. And so,
well, you have a couple things in your favor, I believe, with that matchup, the Packers and the Cowboys, is the coach for the last few times that they've met in the playoffs is on your sidelines now.
100%.
I believe the game is in Dallas. It should be.
It is.
Okay, so that eliminates the cold factor, and all of that mystique that comes with Lambeau Field. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm too concerned with that, but you know more about that rivalry than I do. You know, I don't have a particular favorite team that I watch and follow. So, you know, I'm not tied to anything. I'm just looking at it from a broad perspective. And, you know, I'm not very good at picking games and whatnot. So everything I say, you could probably throw it out the window. But, you know, from what I know about this season, I just feel like the teams that I mentioned are the clear-cut favorites.
Yeah, the clear-cut favorites for sure. The Baltimore and Dallas, the Baltimore and San Francisco are the clear-cut favorites to go to the Super Bowl. So, okay, then what's your prediction as far as conference championships? AFC, who's going to be in it? AFC Championship, who's going to the AFC Championship?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I think in the NFC,
well, you have to say one of them is going to be. I think you say in the AFC, one of them is going to be the Ravens. One of them is going to be the Ravens. Who's the other team?
I didn't look at the brackets.
You got Cleveland. You got Cleveland playing Houston. You got Miami playing KC, and you got Pittsburgh playing Buffalo. Of course,
well, I think
Baltimore's going to play the lower seed out of all of those games anyway, so it don't matter.
I think whoever. So the Kansas City and Miami game, they're playing in Kansas City. It's supposed to be cold as I don't know
it's
what.
The low zero, minus temperatures.
And Miami is like they're fractured. They're a fractured team right now. They have a ton of injuries. So I don't expect. You know, they had a great season, but defensively they are missing a bunch of key pieces. Xavier Howard's out. Bradley Chubb is out. Phillips is out. Their Baker is out. It's cold. I know it's going to be a home going for
Tyreek Hill.
For Tyreek Hill, but he's basically hobbling, trying to play on a hurt ankle. Tua hasn't looked great the last part of the season. So I think, while they had a great year, I think Miami will be one and done, especially since they're not playing in Miami and it's going to be cold as I don't know what in Kansas City. So I think Kansas City wins that game.
Mm-hmm.
I think Cleveland beats.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a great game, but I think where's that game at? It's in Cleveland?
It's in Houston. It's in Houston. Houston's the
okay.
hottest seed.
Well, so since I think they're fairly even teams, I'm gonna give the green light for Houston.
You get the edge to Houston, okay?
I give the edge to Houston.
And then Pittsburgh, Buffalo. Of course, they're in Buffalo.
We know people in Pittsburgh, but I feel like
Buffalo got it.
Anything could happen in that game, but I'm gonna say Buffalo because I said Buffalo is another team to watch that you could consider.
Yeah. So, and if that is the case, if what you say is true, then
it'll be Buffalo. I'm gonna say Buffalo and the Ravens in the AFC Championship.
Buffalo and the Ravens. Okay, I had Ravens and Dolphins. I had Ravens and Dolphins in the AFC Championship. You know, the Dolphins.
I don't think the Dolphins.
I mean, I know that they're fractured. I know that they're fractured. They have some injuries. I think they go in the Arrowhead and win that game. I'm not gonna lie. Of course, we could be wrong. I think they go in the Arrowhead, win that game, and then Miami goes to play Baltimore. Well, no. See, if that's the case, then I can't say it's going to be Miami because Miami and Baltimore. Because if Miami beats Kansas City, they got to play Baltimore in the second round. So that can't happen. It can't happen.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna go with you. I think it'll be Baltimore, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Buffalo in the AFC Championship. If that's the case, I think it'll be Baltimore, Buffalo. I think. NFC, I think it'd be Niners and Cowboys in the AFC Championship. And in the NFC Championship, I think it'd be Niners and Cowboys.
Yeah, I agree with that. Niners and Cowboys. And then go ahead.
And then everybody is expecting Baltimore and San Fran to be in the Super Bowl. I think it'll be Baltimore and the Cowboys. I think I think the Cowboys will go to the Super Bowl, and I think Baltimore's going to win it.
Okay, so I think the 49ers win it just because on paper – and statistically, they have the most even team. They're in the top 10 in statistical categories on both sides for offense and defense. So, everybody knows San Francisco for their offense. For the most part, they have a great defense. Everybody knows that. But when you talk about San Francisco, you talk about Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuels, Brock Purdy, those boys, Ayuk. Kittle, you talk about those individuals and how prolific their offense is, the type of numbers that San Francisco puts up, the calls that Kyle Shanahan makes. So I just think, and San Francisco also has an argument that had Brock Purdy not been hurt last year, they may even win the Super Bowl last year.
Very true.
I just think,
very true.
I just think they come back and try to redeem themselves, try to stay healthy as they can, and they're your Super Bowl champions for 2004. 2024. Damn, I say 2004.
We're living 20 years in the past. We still in high school or just get out of high school.
Ruben Stutter. This is my sorry for 2004.
This is my sorry for 2004. So there you have it, folks. I say it's going to be Baltimore and Cowboys with Baltimore winning it. D-Lo says it's going to be Baltimore and San Fran with San Fran winning it. So we're going to see. We got an NFC side. We got an AFC side. We're going to see what happens coming up in the next. When is the Super Bowl? What day is the Super Bowl? Did you see that?
It's in February.
It's in February for sure. So yeah, but we'll see come up in February which one of us was right. But if you think about Lamar Jackson's record against the NFC, if he make it, they got a sporting chance. Like we said in the segment earlier in the week. Oh, y'all still here. That does mean you love the content. And if that is the case, there's a video on the screen right here. Go ahead and click that, view that. We think you're going to love that one as well. Also, we still got our 600 subscriber goal. So there's a button on the screen right here. Go ahead and click that, subscribe to the channel. And we're on all your streaming platforms, wherever you find your podcasts.